To excellent sources, this came as something of a huge shock, all thanks to Meghan Markle and the senior member of the British monarchy. Something that really, well, shocked them beyond words. And that's saying something, let me tell you. As ever, let me explain. Morning, good to see you. Thank you so much as ever for your time. By the way, I just wanted to give a belated happy birthday to this beautiful lady, Frida, from the brilliant Swedish band ABBA. We all love an ABBA song, don't we? Absolutely. I was lucky enough to meet all of the ABBA boys and girls, in fact. And I don't know if you remember, but Neil Sedaka was very instrumental in their early success. Do you remember the song he wrote with them? I do, I do, I do, which is just a great song, isn't it? You're going to be singing that now, aren't you? Well, that's the thing, isn't it? Gets stuck in your head. And I was trying to think, why have ABBA never really teamed up with anybody else? I think apart from the lyricist, of course, Sir Tim Rice, who did a wonderful job, of course, with the hit musical Chess. Do you remember that? Brilliant. Yes, still love Chess, don't you? Absolutely. Let's get back to your royal story of the day. It's really obvious, isn't it, when you look at Meghan Markle, really, just how ill-equipped she was for joining the British monarchy. Everything from whether she was wearing the right things to the writing on banana skin, shocking people, all that sort of stuff, you know. And really, I don't necessarily fully blame her. As I said, Prince Harry was around everything. He could have guided her, shown her and said, you know, don't want to do that. The true story is this, though, that basically he's just terrified of her and wouldn't want to reprimand or say anything wrong. If you remember, he said on the African tour, which was an absolute shambles, that nobody congratulated them on her doing an excellent job. Well, yeah, you know, what did she do exactly? Offend a lot of staff, people quit and they couldn't stand to be near her and then they moved off, allegedly. And it's all very detailed, isn't it? But of course it was her dealings with our late and brilliant monarch, Queen Elizabeth II, 70 years on the throne, and when you think about it, would have seen and heard and witnessed most things. But this apparently shook Her Majesty to the core. And this is because, if you remember now, when they decided they couldn't, you know, necessarily enjoy living in Kensington Palace because, no, it wasn't, you know, paparazzi were chasing them everywhere. Basically, Meghan wanted a castle. You know, she wanted somewhere like, a little bit like Rapunzel, throwing out those locks of the window and hopefully Harry climbing up them. Either way, that was the deal, right? Now, here's where it gets really interesting because, as we know, they were then gifted the cottage, and that was a 10-bedroom cottage. Wonderful thing when you think, not a cottage like you and I think, it's a big spacious place. So again, another mega slap in the teeth to say that the TV Weight Watchers doyen, Oprah Winfrey, said, oh, I can't believe you're living in a place like this. Goodness, how ungrateful. Free, taxpayer funded, and more importantly, of course, all the security you need. You get the picture. But consequently, pushing forward, what happened was this, that Meghan was really hell-bent on getting inside Windsor Castle. And she knew that there were certain rooms, ex-staff rooms, that could be converted into, say, 10 or 15 rooms for her to live, that she felt, rightly so, beside our late brilliant monarch. The Queen didn't want it. She just didn't want it. But of course, what she did think was going to be happening was this. You see, she got a message via her courtiers that both Harry and Meghan would like to come and see them. And so they did, allegedly. And here's where it gets really interesting, because what happened was the Queen thought that both Meghan and Harry were going to be thanking her for bestowing such a wonderful gift upon them for somewhere to live on the estate. What actually happened was that Harry said that Meghan and he would like to move into Windsor Castle to be near her and look out for her, all that sort of stuff. The Queen didn't want it. And so consequently, when she very tactfully said, no, you know, you've got that, you know, that would be fine, apparently Meghan saw eruptions and couldn't believe it. She never actually got into that final meeting. And it's fascinating, isn't it, when you think about it, because clearly she thought that Harry could pull it off and she was going to be the secondary play-up to make sure it's wonderful, thank you. The only reason Meghan and Harry wanted to move into Windsor Castle was one-upmanship against Catherine and William. Dress it up any way you want. That was the deal. And the moment, of course, that Meghan couldn't move into the castle was the moment that she decided Canada looked a better option. Neil Sean in the very heart of London.